But not to say that I don't think protesting is good for people, and definitely good in terms of, what's the word I'm looking for, in terms of spreading awareness.
Yeah.
But like, if we're not like taking things to the next level, I'm like, then I need to start figuring out stuff that I can do that allows me to get results that I'm wanting from taking shit to the next level, at least. So I was like, let me do this. That's the piece that I can do. So I did that.
That's why I stopped doing a lot of political shit in Florida, because it was like the Democratic Party does not exist down there. So like, it's like when you go to like the organized Democrat type events, and like they can organize some shit, but like it's all talk. Like there's no action, there's no reaching out to people that you might not agree with, so that like you can like build a coalition or anything. And I don't mean that like you should go to the stodgiest of Trump supporters, but like you should recognize that the people that are in your area need more than just your ambitions for you to succeed. Like your ambitions cannot be the tagline of your campaign. Like how you want to be in power and be the Democrat that's in the red state means shit to all of these people. And it's like, how are you going to, I've never heard that from like a Central Florida like politician, like even just like small town politician. I never heard from like anybody who was like liberal or left leaning how they're actually going to change somebody's life. Like why they're even a Democrat in the first place. I never heard that. All I ever heard was like, just talking points, just like
rhetoric.
And it's like, there's people there that are fucking hurting and they need like help. And like, if you don't even say that, like, not even saying that like you're going to get government assistance or anything, but like be for like the idea that like you're going to help these people out of their situation. Because what the Republicans in those small towns do is they say that like, the Democrats are just anti-business. And because there's so few jobs sometimes to like scrap over sometimes,
they
like wait, like pre-pandemic, that like getting a job was still kind of hard. Like if you don't have like all the things that you need to go get a job, right? Like to get like a quote unquote good job. You know what I mean? So like a lot of the Republicans in the area, what they would do is they would say like, well, the Democrats don't want you to work because they don't want these jobs to exist in your area at all. So like these little Rudy Poo jobs that we let you have, they don't even want you to have that bullshit. You know what I mean? And like no Democrat ever like fought with that shit. They would just get mad that like they're like Republicans are saying bullshit, and it's like Republicans say bullshit. That's their shit. That's what they like to do.
Yeah, Republicans say bullshit. This is true.
You don't have a fucking plan. Just say you don't have a plan to deal with people's everyday life. If you don't have a plan to deal with people's lives, then I don't know why I'm looking at you right now. Right. And so I really think that's how most people felt in the area, because it's not like you didn't have other people that like were there or like support, but it's just like, who's the real deal? You know what I mean? And so like that when you said that shit, that's what it made me think about. It's the same shit,
No, it is. That's so try to find ways to do stuff or do what you can. Because the fact is, we all feel powerless in some capacity. I know I do, but it's like you got to keep doing something.
If you're just tuning in.
Oh, I was just about to. I was like, because we talked for so long. I was like, did we start, bro? But yeah, continue. Carry on.
I thought that was a good place to start, because even with that conversation, like,
that's a separate
it's real.
conversation.
Like that's what people actually go through, like in their communities, whether you're in a red state or a blue state. Like people just be like starving, and like politicians, all they got to say is like, oh yeah, I really like that thing Bernie said that one time. And it's just like, well, that's fucking great. Like,
what you do?
But what do you do? Like, what are you going to
What
are you going to do? What are you going to help me with? You know what I mean?
And are you going to actually keep your word and do it?
Right. Like, that's what I don't trust them. I don't trust, like, there's been so many like small town Democrat, like, and I probably like, this is the type of shit that like Democrats don't like to hear you say, but like it's true. It's like you have a small town Democrat on the ballot, and like they don't do fucking shit. They've never been in the community. They've never been anywhere. They're not at the bread lines and the soup kitchens or whatever. They're not at the places at like the bread banks or whatever. They're not at the places where like people need like job assistance and stuff. They don't make like they don't stand on the shit. They don't live that shit in their real life. They live like Republicans do in the town when they have the money to fund their own campaigns and shit.
Yeah.
They live exactly like the Republicans do in that town. What makes them any fucking different? So that's why I stopped like going to like their little events and shit, because it's masturbatory at that point. Yeah, it's just everybody's just fucking,
Yeah, searcher.
Yeah, it's just fucking circle
Look
jerking.
at me.
Yeah, like look at me.
I'm a senator.
Look how much of a liberal I am. Like it's like, oh great, like cool.
Look at my political viewpoints.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, good for you.
That's so great. Yes, and everybody applauds.
You're a good person. If you're just tuning in, I'm your host Logan, and this is the Milk and Toast podcast. I'm here with my best friend Mitch. Say hi to the people, Mitch.
Milk and Toast.
Okay, he's the Milk and Toast ghost. We usually save the Milk and Toast ghost for October, but like, fuck it.
Milk and Toast.
Yo, I gotta fucking make a clip of that shit. That's so that
for October.
Is
It'll be great.
That is great. I love that you did that.
Milk and Toast.
Anyways,
I just do what I can. Ridiculous moment by ridiculous moment.
Anyways, if you love the show, share the show. Please share the show if you love it. I don't understand. If you love it, share it. Like, it'd be like, hey, here's some shit I love. Like, you have a meme that you love, you share
People
that
don't
shit?
share stuff until it's super cool, bro. We're just not super cool yet.
We are fucking super cool. I don't know.
I mean, I know we're super cool, but the popular vote doesn't know we're super cool.
If they don't know it, that's their problem. I ain't got nothing to do with that. But if you want to be super cool, you'll listen to the super cool show that is the Milk and Toast podcast, and you will share that show with your super cool friends, assuming you have any. If you don't have any super cool friends, the best way to get some is if you listen to the Milk and Toast podcast and share that shit, because super cool people want to be a part of this super cool shit.
Yeah.
Damn, that was really smooth. I'm glad I got that off. I was like, I'm about to stutter through this.
Don't give yourself credit for it after the fact. Goddamn you.
Sometimes if you're listening out there, sometimes you have to congratulate yourself because nobody else is going to do that shit. Sometimes you got to be your own cheerleader. And so
why'd you look at me like that when you said that, bro?
I'm just
I'm
looking
not
around.
a hater, bro.
You're not. Now sometimes you and Claire be hating, and I'll be like, I just be trying my best. I'm fighting for my fucking life.
Oh. All right. Okay. You know what? Sorry. Yeah. Good job, man.
Guys, I am so hyped today. I am not I'm not playing. I gotta end up. Listen, I was just talking to Sarah about this. I got in a fight with my boss today, and I told y'all that I was done fighting with my boss.
But he lied.
That's what she said.
But he lied.
Okay, listen. When they have the calendar up and it says it's been this many days since the incident.
Yeah, I know. How long have you been going? It's been a good few years, right?
But no, a few years.
Ah, damn. See, I believe in you. See, he'd be mad, but I believe in him. But then he'd be doing this shit.
It's been like
and wonder why.
Months. It's been like 5 months. And I went 5 months without arguing with my boss.
Without incident. This many months without incident. And now we have to start fresh.
That's what happened. So, I mean, I still got my job. So, as always.
Yeah, not many people can say that. Yeah. And you do. Good for you, man.
I was cussing this time. This is weird. I'm a real New Yorker now. Like I was cussing. Like it's so weird. Like New York culture is weird. Like you can cuss at your boss. Like it's you can't do that shit in Florida. Like it's weird.
I never had a job in Florida, so I couldn't tell you. I started my literal employment career started in New York because I moved up here at 19.
But
and
you can say fuck in front of your boss.
No,
like, that's crazy shit.
Yeah, if you really, especially for yours. So this man Logan comes up to me. He's like,
"Don't tell him the story. Don't tell him what happened."
I just want to do the one part because that shit has me rolling still.
What part?
The part about the.
Oh yeah, no, fuck it, no, don't tell him that because like I don't like. I don't need this to get back to my boss about it or anything. All
Bro,
we
that's
should
just
say,
funny. That's just funny.
that shit there. One day we're gonna talk honestly on this show about revenge and how I'm trying to be a good person. Like it's like
He is trying to be a good person.
I'm trying.
Succeeding for the most part.
Thank you, Mitch. Oh my god.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right.
No,
Yeah, we get it.
I was just before you said that, I was just about to say, I'm glad I have like a friend like you who has seen me at my worst and has seen like the growth. So like there's proof of it somewhere in this world that like guys, I'm trying, like, you know what I mean? Because like if you don't have that, like it's so hard.
People just be thinking you crazy.
Yeah, people just like they just fucking write you out. They're like, man, like
what? Okay, so
like no, I used to be worse and getting better, a lot better.
Yeah. Good. Continue. Because nobody have time for all that.
Yeah, ask the JU basketball team of 2010. Like, ask them motherfuckers. I can't stand them. Damn, I fucking hate them.
Bro, let it go.
How you be fucking violent and don't win the fucking games? Like, bro, pick a struggle. Like, you
that was 11 years ago, Logan. Oh no, I'm sorry, 12 years ago.
Yeah, that's true.
That was 12 years ago. Bro, why haven't you let that go? And my therapist says I have issues letting go, which is true. But how you not let that go?
I've let it go. What the funny part to me is, it's not that I haven't let it go. I did let it go. It's just, you know, you have memories. And so that's one of them. And so like I remember that shit. It's like,
no, I do too, sadly, unfortunately.
But
and I shouldn't have to remember it. It shouldn't have been any of my business. But
what's a bad basketball team right now? The Wizards, I think, are good again.
Well, technically the Lakers haven't made the playoffs.
No, but they're not bad. They still got LeBron. They didn't make the playoffs, but they're not bad. Like if they had won just that one game, they would have made it. So that's different.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's how basketball works now. I'm not sure. I don't watch a lot of basketball. But
most of the teams, like, basketball is not looking like it has any, like, trash teams. Nobody's really, like, ass like that.
Even name a trash team. Name a trash team. In any sport.
In any sport?
Yeah, trash team.
Like, the Browns.
Weren't they good just like 2 years ago though?
I don't know, but you said that 2 years ago.
Oh, okay, I got one. Jacksonville Jaguars. That's another.
I thought the Jaguars were doing well, actually.
They went to the playoffs like what, 4 years ago? I don't think so. But
okay.
But like, yeah, like if you're like the Jags, right? You shouldn't be fighting anybody. Like that's what I'm saying. Like you should, like you got to win a couple of games before you start like,
and then you can really be
threatening
upset.
People. Like you can't be. What my point is for people who don't understand my logic at home, you can't be a loser and threaten people. Like you got to pick what. Like you like either you win the game so you win the clout to threaten people, or you just lose and you keep your mouth shut. But you can't do both.
Just doesn't work that way. No, this makes sense.
Thank you. We have a great show today. Let's talk about. I want to talk about the situation in Puerto Rico that you want to talk about.
Okay. So, I follow a page on Instagram. I don't know if they're on anywhere, but it's called Indigenous Peoples Movement. Shout out to them. If you don't follow them, you can follow them. They post really cool stuff about, just exactly what it states in their name, like indigenous movements happening across the globe as best as they can. And one I came across today was, it's called Cajuana. I think that's how you say it, but like Cajuana. But there are these ceremonial ball courts in Borican, Puerto Rico. And what's happening is, I'm not even sure. It seems to be that the government is trying to privatize the ball courts. Now, the reason it's fucked up is because, one, it's sacred to the Taino people. Those are the indigenous people of a lot of the Caribbean, actually, not just Puerto Rico. Haiti, too, matter of fact. Like, a lot of islands. Them and, like, the Arawak people, too. Before slaves come over and Europeans come over.
Right.
And everything intermingles, giving us, these different kind of like ethnic groups and stuff like that. But so it's sacred to the Taino people whose, you know, descendants still live there. And like, it's kind of like, other than being a sacred site, it's also like this ceremonial, like astronomical like space. They were charting the stars and stuff. Yeah, right. They were charting the stars and stuff in these places and making connections with their people, with their culture and stuff of that nature. So I just think it's messed up for any government or any like corporation to come into a place with sacred and cultural, you know, significance to people and just think you get to have a say on how that place, that area, that thing is used. That's just always upset me. I don't know why.
No, well, it's valid.
Yes, I do, because I'm a spiritual person. And maybe it's one, I'm a spiritual person. I always have it out for the little guy, you know, just trying to keep something positive in an area. And this is like a positive area for these people. Like it's a ball court. So there's like games that can be played on the courts. And then, like I said, literal astronomy is happening with some of the sites. So they have the courts, they have stones set up with like these petroglyphs and stuff like that. It's just like almost like, you know, artwork and stuff. And I don't even know so much about it. I just learned about it like literally today. And I'm already looking at it. I'm like, this is a beautiful place. What do you need to privatize about this? But regardless, why do you think, oh, I just get to come in and, you know, take this place that people are saying means something to us deeper than just like a supermarket or something, and thinking you get to have a call on what happens to this space is all I'm saying. So, you know, I just wanted to speak to, you know, what sacred like means to people. It's so lost on us in this generation, you know what I mean? Like people don't really believe, people aren't religious to begin with. People aren't too spiritual as well. And, you know, things are getting better in terms of like spirituality for most places, but like still that isn't important enough to people. Right. Whereas with me, it's like one of the most important things, if not the most important thing. And that's why for me, it always pulls at my heartstrings where someone's like, oh, damn, Apollo's like...
Our producer is trying to talk to us right now.
And he doesn't seem to sound happy. But anyway, yeah, it just tugs at my heartstrings that...
I know the budget's bad right now, but we're in the middle of the show.
Like, yeah, man. Like, it's always so adorable. But...
Sorry.
No, it's okay. But like, yeah, the concept of sacredness is so lost on people. And nowadays it's more about, you know, getting into the coolest club and having this elite mindset. And that's how you know. And it's like, no, that's not what that means. This is something to me that means more, well, in one sense, more than my own life, more than like money, the things around me. This is a connection with divinity. We don't know why we're here, you know what I mean? And I know people like to not believe in God, but to me it's just kind of crazy since, you know, we know there's an origin. And on one sense, spirituality is about connecting with what feels like the origin, what feels like the divine source, what feels like a higher place, a higher realm than where we exist now. And, you know, people create sites and trying to, you know, connect with that feeling, with that truth that they feel within themselves and around them. And so when someone commits a space to that purpose, you know what I mean? It's just so fucked up to just, that means a lot to them. They put in the work for that to be there. I know people feel like churches should be taxed and all that, especially here, don't get me wrong. But, you know, these are still spaces that matter to people on a level that we're not really used to talking to, on a higher level of existence too than what we're used to. Right. And like that's what sacredness means. And like you can't just do that to people. You can't take that away from people just because you have secular thinking and you feel as if something else could go here. It's like, sorry, but the way I feel, put it somewhere else. Find another space, find another place. We barely have any left. We're so disconnected from divinity in one sense. We're disconnected. We're so disconnected. And it's like whatever's left, me personally, I'm a proponent of keeping it as it is, the way it is. We don't, it's, modernization is happening every day. You know what I mean? There's nothing we could per se do about it. But it's like some things just, I feel, don't need to be touched. We have our great outdoors and canyons and all that shit, and all that's beautiful to us. It means something to us on some level. We don't need people going over there, and just like the rainforest burning, it's like horrible. It's like we don't need to be destroying any of these spaces. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to get rid of Stonehenge. We don't need to get rid of the pyramids. But why does it have to be something huge like that for it to matter to people? If someone has a space or a thing or something, and they're saying, and like a group of people, and they're saying, this is sacred. It does not need to be defiled by man. It serves the purpose of forming a connection here with a higher state. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Leave it alone.
Right.
Just leave it alone. And why do you have the issue? And it's like, sometimes it feels to me like people purposely do that. Because to me, the scheme is to have people disconnected from themselves in the first place, from the highest levels of themselves, so they care less about themselves, so they do whatever the fuck you want them to do. You know what I'm saying? And it's so lost on people in understanding what sacred means, because you are sacred. Mm-hmm. We as human beings are sacred, and we're so lost. We devalue ourselves so much. And to me, that's also what it's about. So like I said, man, like, leave Kahwana alone, bro. These people, it means something to them. And it's like actual cultural heritage and significance. Mm-hmm. Like, these are people's ancestors, a full culture for them to learn from. And you can study the stars using the space, this particular space, Kahwana, like, while you're at it, bro, like, leave it alone. It serves a purpose. It doesn't need to be changed.
One thing that I thought about while you were speaking was that, they want to bulldoze this site, like you said. It's like a.
Well, I can't take it there yet, but they want to privatize it. So I mean, you already know what's next after, right? Yeah.
Like, Puerto Rico has its own issues when it comes to like colonization, because like it's not only is it set up as a tax haven for like rich people in the United States, but it's also set up where like they have unfair wages because like the tourism industry and everything, and like it's just a whole mess, right?
And if I remember correctly, Puerto Rico is also one of those territories, the U.S. specifically, this is a place where we can get soldiers from for our military.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of shit that you get, like the benefits from having a territory like Puerto Rico, but not giving them like the benefits of statehood.
The benefits that, exactly.
There's a lot of that, and like. What I thought about when you're talking about sacred spaces is that like just a couple of years ago, it was a big deal when like Notre Dame was burning. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't remember what happened necessarily, but it was on fire, and the shit was like half of it like burned down, and like people were like saying like this is the worst thing that ever happened and everything like that. And so then like just a couple of years later, you have a similar situation in like Hawaii, where they was trying to build a new telescope over like sacred lands.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and it's right, like, remember? Bro, you could put a telescope anyway. I don't want to.
Exactly, right. You could put a telescope. Why don't you put it on the top of Mount St. Helens or some shit, But like we purposefully pick certain spaces that mean something to people in a spiritual sense. But if like one of those spaces, and I'm not going to say we, because I know who the people are, right? Because it's not me. Like I gotta stop saying that. Like I gotta stop saying we for colonized shit when I'm not the colonizer.
We're not the colonizers.
You know what I mean? But like there's this reaction to like sacred sites. Like you can look at a church like Notre Dame like start to burn down, and I'm not saying it's not sad. Like I've been to the top of Notre Dame. Like I've been there. You know what I mean? It's beautiful. You get to see all of Paris out there. It's fucking awesome, right?
That sounds great.
And like being inside, like you see like all the architecture. And this is not the first time this fucking thing has burned down before. It has burned down a couple of times throughout the centuries, right? But still, like just all the work that went into it, and the fact that it is a spiritual and sacred place, you feel that when you're in there. You do feel some of the little, what is it? How capitalism affects like Catholicism a little bit,
Bro.
because they have like the money in the gift shops like right in the middle of the shit.
Capitalism affects
like,
everything.
And it's there. But like what they do with their sacred space is their business, right?
Right.
But at the same time, there's this attitude when it comes to the sacred spaces of like indigenous people, where it's just like they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck if it's whatever it is. And then it's always seen through this lens where like that sacred space is lesser, so therefore we have the right to do what we want with it. This isn't Notre Dame, so we get to bulldoze it. This isn't St. Peter's Cathedral or whatever cathedral you can think of, or whatever. You know what I mean? What I'm saying? And like if it wasn't for the fact that like Muslim and like people who follow Islam, like if it wasn't for the fact that they have like an actual like people that they can go to and like actual power in this world, you guys would be like bulldozing mosques just as well. And and there was this case where like they was shooting up mosques too, like just not too long ago.
Yeah, that is true.
So like there is this thing where it's like there's this total disrespect, not just for like spirituality, but there's a certain type of disrespect for like certain people's spirituality.
Yeah.
Like even like when I think of like the Dylan Roof situation, and I know we're talking about domestic terrorism because like maybe I'm just in that mode because like we had that incident in New York, which we'll probably we're gonna talk about a little later. But like even like the idea of like Dylan Roof going into like a sacred space like that black church and then like killing people in there, like it's just like that goes along with it. There's this disrespect for like spaces that are not, basically if they didn't come from European places, like it's like it's fair game.
Yeah.
Like that's what Manifest Destiny is. Like, that's what that was. Like you're gonna roll into indigenous spaces because like, you feel God like you are divine to do that. Yep. And there's nowhere in the Bible that it says you should be able to do that. You know what I mean? People, so it's like just this idea that you become a god yourself because you follow like a Christian mindset or whatever is like ever present in this idea that they get to do whatever they want to indigenous spaces. And I heard you talk about that, and that's just what I wanted to talk about it as well, because it's like, I don't know, I have a problem with the thoughtlessness that goes into it,
Well, that's exactly what it is.
Not just from the people who are doing it, but from the same type of people who will like, they'll post something when like Notre Dame burns down, but they won't post anything when like, they're trying, like there was a movement where people were saying, do not take your vacation in Hawaii. And like, people were like, sorry, I like Hawaii. Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
And like it worked for a little bit, like, people did like boycott Hawaii and stuff, and like, but still, it's like still this attitude that like everyday people have, that it's like if it's not like white and Christian and it doesn't come from white Jesus, then it like can't be sacred. Roll that shit over, and it's just like, ooh.
It's like what the fuck.
We have to stop that. Like, that's a big problem. That's a big problem that like
it's a Western
Christianity
European
has.
mindset because mind you, Christianity doesn't even the oldest Christian text is I forget what it's called, a Bible in Ethiopia written in Giz script, which is a dead language. Ethiopia,
right,
in Africa.
Yeah,
and then when you get crusades. And, pilgrims and all that coming over here and colonizers coming all over here, that happens in Western Europe.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's just Western European mindset. And it's very unfortunate because sadly that's like spread everywhere. And people think it's okay to kind of just, bulldoze over other like ideals and spiritual like movements without trying to learn to understand them. Just like, nope, it's us. It's us or them. Destroy them. Our God's the real one. Fuck everybody else's God.
That's
what everybody else
what I was
thinks.
just speaking to too. Is like this
No,
idea
that's
that
exactly
like
what it is, bro.
even if you thought that like your God is the real one, there is no reason to like
No
bring that
precedent
into
at all.
anybody else's bullshit or anything.
I need to kill
Like,
you because your God is different from mine.
Yeah,
is
that's
the
crazy.
most non-spiritual and most likely,
Yes.
even in your religious movement, the most non-religious thing you could ever be doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Like,
it's
period.
like, period.
Like
Straight up,
literally.
bro. You know what I mean? There's a lots of different, and even if that doesn't mean anything to you, you already know there's lots of different ways for people to think. That doesn't necessarily mean it's good or bad. It doesn't necessarily mean you get to decide, and it certainly doesn't mean you get to harm them in any way because you disagree.
I think that was what. Now, don't quote me. I could just being stupid, and like you can tell me how dumb I am, and like I could be getting the story wrong, and I'm probably getting the story wrong.
You want me to call you
like,
dumb?
You already do that, so it's not novel. I'm talking about the audience. The audience can do that.
Oh, okay.
But like like if I get this wrong, I get this wrong, and like flame me for it.
What's up?
But like, I believe that was like one of the themes in the story of the Good Samaritan is that like there's this Jewish person that they're like laying on the floor dying, and like all the Jewish people or whoever like that should have helped them like just like fucking walk over him, and then like the Samaritan of all people like who they usually don't
their
like
people are like supposed to be horrible, right?
and their people are supposed to be horrible, and like
story.
their people who don't believe in the same God as them, like that's the person that picks him up and then nurses him back to health and then like takes care of him, and it's just like that's the same. Like we're so like I hate that we're so fast to talk about certain like grandiose stories in the Bible and all the parables and stuff, but like never actually like evaluate what they mean in our actual lives. You know what I mean?
Or even try to apply. Because to me, so here's the thing. I'm not too religious, but mind you, I'm a fair dude. So if you tell me you're religious and in terms of the trust between us, but also I guess just because so I could pay attention and know the truth of your religion and how to respect you best and all that, like I'm watching to see if you actually adhere to what you believe or not.
I don't know if that's fair, but what I do think...
I mean, it's not a judgment thing. I just pay attention.
Well, yeah, but like I feel like it's like that's between you and your God, right? But to me, it is a little... I get where you're coming from. Like it does bother me a little bit.
Well, hypocrisy bothers the fuck out of me.
It does bother me a little bit. Like religious hypocrisy bothers me more.
I know it shouldn't, but it bothers me more.
I've said on this show before that like hypocrisy doesn't bother me because like that's what you want to do with your life and that's how you want to live or whatever. But like religious hypocrisy for some reason does actually bother me. Like that is the one area there. And it's not because I'm looking for somebody to be pure or whatever. It's because most religious hypocrisy comes from this vein of you're not pure enough when literally nobody is. And because of that, I get to judge you and I get to tell you what to do and I get to run your life and I get to kill you if I want to. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just like, where did all that? It's like going from 0 to 100. It's like, whoa, where did all that come from? You know what I mean?
You need to relax, please.
Yeah. It's like, just chill out. You know what I mean? Down. But like, it's always 0 to 100. And like that type of piousness, just, I can't. Like it's like
no, I feel that. I need to speak in terms of what people can do to help. I don't have any direct links, but on Instagram you can follow Indigenous Peoples Movement. So that's Indigenous Peoples plural and then movement, and that's like all one word, Indigenous Peoples Movement. You can follow them and usually you'll see like a lot of things that they have going on, that there are a lot of people who they're trying to help. This one particularly will be on the page as well. But if you want to help Cajuana, the act is called RCS 45. RCS 45. And they're voting on it actually this coming Tuesday. So this Tuesday, April 19th, they are voting on it. So, Indigenous Peoples Movement is asking to email senators, to call the regional director's office. But I tried to call, and it was the most annoying experience, and I couldn't get through to anybody, probably on purpose, but you know how that goes. You can also contact UNESCO, UNESCO, the World Heritage Center. But like literally, I would say like try emailing or just, spread awareness about it and see what can be done. But the act is called RCS 45, and you can like email and call senators to vote no against it and block the act. Don't let them privatize Cajuana.
Definitely.
It's not cool. It's a sacred site. Shout out to Borican.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention, because I didn't know anything about that.
No, I didn't either. I just, it's just sometimes, and I'm a lazy fuck, but sometimes the spirit moves you right, and like it was moving me right, and I was like, I have a platform to speak about issues and stuff. Mm-hmm. Why would I not, bring this up and try to help in some way that I can? So yeah.
Yeah, I just
get out there.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, is it on there? Yeah, you can see it, bro.
Yeah, it's on there. Yeah,
and I had shared it in my story. The act's called RCS 45, and just don't let them privatize this indigenous sacred site. It's a no from me. Sorry. But yeah, that's the most I can say about it. I don't know too much about Cajuana,
right?
Because like I'm not the archaeologist on the site or historian, but I did find that information really cool, and I think it's a site that should be preserved. I would like to one day, if possible, see it. You know what I mean? And why get rid of that culture and heritage? Why get rid of the history? All of it is beautiful. Let it be there. Let it stay sacred. I'm off my soapbox now. Shit, you're the one usually on soapboxes. Oh, I don't like that.
You was on, yeah. It feels,
bro, I was there for a minute, bro.
You know how that feels? Yeah, that's how that feels. Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about something else.
That is exactly how that feels.
I do it for the sacred sites. I'll do it for the spirituality. I'm not going to lie. But let me get down off this soapbox. But I did want to bring that up.
I might give you like an old topic.
So what?
I didn't want to move on so quick, but I wanted to talk to you about, because you didn't really get to talk about it last week. We touched on it a little bit.
Which thing? Oh, wait. I can't even remember.
I know. Yeah. You don't even know what I'm going to say.
No, I can't. Sorry.
All right. Well, you was talking to me about black men being loved with a price.
Oh.
Yeah.
How did I forget about that? Did we even get the chance to talk about it?
No.
Right. We didn't. I brought it up, but we didn't get the chance to talk about it. Shit. Why the fuck was I in my feelings?
I don't know why. I wanted to figure out what spurred you to say something so controversial.
Why would you say something so controversial yet so brave?
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like always on my mind, and it could just be because like dating for me has sucked for a little bit. You know what I mean?
At least you're honest. I like that you said that, because I feel like a lot of men say this and they are not honest about that part. Like,
no, well, so I mean,
it could be. And that might,
it's and not it might the be reason,
something
though.
deeper. I know it might be something deeper, but I just like that there's that disclaimer. There
was like what spurred that, and it was like, yes. I don't know why I was feeling like I wasn't shit in this moment, but probably because dating ain't been going well. I ain't got laid in a while. Damn, man, why don't these women love me? but therein we get closer to the truth. Why don't women love me? Or why don't at least like me? I know, doesn't that suck? I didn't even mean to do that, but like that is where it comes from.
I felt hard. I was like, oh my God. Somebody help my baby. Somebody help my baby.
Of course it isn't that bad. There are women in my life who love me, but we were talking in the romantic sense. But then when we talk about the romance, and we're talking about this aspect for black men, because men in general, what's that? I hate to use a Chris Rock joke. But what was it? It was women, dogs, and children are loved unconditionally. But a man's loved only on the condition that he provides something. Great joke, because it is a joke, but it's so funny, bro.
So funny.
It's so fucking funny. I do too, because there's a lot that really goes into that to unpack. But that is how it feels, though, ain't it? therein lies the problem, because it's like men in general, but black men specifically, I don't know what it is, and maybe it's because I'm a black dude, that's how I feel, but it's like, you know how it is, bro.
Dogs and children. That's when I lost it. Like,
and the reason it's a joke and unfair, because women ain't necessarily loved unconditionally. No. They're loved on the premise they provide sex. So you got to cut that out as well.
There's a price that comes with
everything
as well, yeah.
Which is why it's a joke, because it's not necessarily the truth. It's just funny as fuck. Yeah. But yeah, man, it's like, you know, think about how, you know, how people won't care about you until all of a sudden you got $1 million or you got some clout to your name. And it's in the culture. You smile and you laugh.
I'm trying to think
about it.
No,
it's okay to laugh, but like, it's really sad. That's the thing,
Do you feel that way for real?
Oh,
that people don't love you until you make $1 million.
Oh, well,
thank you. That's what I'm trying.
Not to that degree, Logan. Oh my God. Not to that degree. Okay. I do feel people are fake like that, though. Human beings do be fake like that. Like,
this is the purpose of this podcast right here. Is that people will say shit like that on other podcasts, and nobody will say what I just said. Do you really anything. Feel like that? Like nobody puts their hands on their hips and says,
"It's like, yo,
is this bullshit or isn't it? Like what is going on?"
I mean, but still a little close, you know, because it's like that. Sadly, you know, due to capitalism or whatever, and how, you know, money, value, and worth affects human beings, we don't really value each other enough just as people. You know, you should value someone being able to live. You want someone to have a good life. You want to have a good life. You should want everyone around you having a good life. How can we as human beings work in tandem to make sure we're all having a great life is how it's supposed to be. And so now we have, you know, all these other rules and structures that we like put into place, whether they are verbally said or actually there. And one of them is like, you know, men aren't truly valued unless it's like, oh, and it's in all the music, which is also another toxic thing. It can't be helped though. It's just song. But, you know, if you broke, you can't do all this, which I understand on some level, because you don't want to be poor. But it's funny how no one's ever like, it's just funny how no one's ever like, yo, why is people poor though? And the answer would be, you know, they don't work, but it's like.
She don't want to hear all that.
It's like.
She don't want to hear that. She said, you got it.
That was so
not.
greatly
Can you
timed.
help me or not?
Yo, bro, real shit. And on one level, in that capacity, when people are honest about it, I can't, you kind of deal with it better. But, you know, we as human beings, we aren't honest with each other. But regardless, it's kind of disgusting that that's how we work. It makes me sad all the time. Nothing I could do about it. And I partake myself, and I'd be ashamed of myself on some level. Honestly, that's real. But
I was thinking about this subject today because I was thinking about.
Yeah, why was you thinking about it? I forgot.
I know. Well, I just be thinking about the show, and I think that's good for me because otherwise I would go
otherwise
crazy.
We would have talked about it. Oh yeah, and you going crazy?
Yeah, that too. You're right too. We're both right. But like, I was thinking about this for some reason today, and I was thinking about like what I would say to you about
have a day
it,
today.
You know? And I said to myself, I feel like on some level you're correct. There are people who feel that way, that, you know, like you don't make a certain amount of money.
Well, Logan, other than being correct in that capacity, I'm also still correct in the fact that people just think that way. Unfortunately.
No,
I don't want to be correct.
No, I'm not saying you're not.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that I believe that you're right. There are some people who feel that way, and there are some people who don't necessarily like feel that way. But that's also what made me think about it, is that like I feel like a lot of people would say, are you crackling something right now?
I'm playing with this ketchup packet.
Yeah, don't play with a ketchup packet. I can hear that shit.
Sorry.
It sounds like we have like crackles in the show. Like
my fault.
Yeah, we work hard on the audio here. Come on, man.
Sorry.
Anyways, I feel like there are people who would argue with you and say that, you know, maybe it's just the women you like. And maybe just the women you like got expensive taste. Like,
Not the case for me. I think is the best that I can answer that.
I mean, it's your subject.
The best that I can answer that. Not the best. Not the case for me. I think, but definitely the argument that could be had, and a fair argument to be had.
If you like the Instagram model type,
they do be so curvy.
See, there you go. Like, that's what I'm saying.
They do be looking.
You know what? Maybe also made me think about it is that like if you like the Instagram model type, right? And a lot of dudes like aesthetically do like it. I get it. It's not necessarily my thing. Like certain
I appreciate and love all shapes and sizes. And some of those Instagram types are, nice little lean honeys or some skinny chicks who also look good. Show everybody love. You know what I'm saying, dog? Come on now.
Certain Instagram models, like I get it. Like I don't like anything that's extra dressed up. Like I'm not one of those dudes that are like anti-makeup or any of that bullshit. But like because I like when girls like dress up and stuff, but like I feel like the Instagram look, there's an Instagram look, and when you know what I mean, like there's an Instagram look.
It's so unfortunate.
And for the Instagram look, like everybody does it, and so like I don't like things that look the same as other things. So like I don't like the feeling that I can't find you anywhere else. Like if I can find 5 more of you, I'm not really into it. You know what I mean? Like I like unique women, things, anything. Like, I like uniqueness, like, which makes me sound like really, I know how it makes me sound, guys. But like we are real on this podcast.
Oh,
but
wow.
Like,
okay. We didn't know you had such,
yeah, I know.
Taste.
Like that's not me at all. Like I don't have that much taste.
You sure?
No. I mean, you've seen Sarah. She's not Instagrammy. She's fine, but like she's not like she doesn't have that type of look.
How do you know?
Because I know what that look is. Like,
okay, me and Sarah are gonna have to work on a project real soon, and we're gonna get
turn her all Instagrammy. Do that. I want to see it.
Logan's like, hey, you know what?
Go
ahead.
Like I wanted to try. Yeah,
go ahead, do it.
Anything
do it
that's
then.
Different. Yes,
do it then. Since you think you can, go ahead and do it. But yeah,
but no. What I was thinking about it while I'm rambling is that like that Instagram look that y'all like so much, like a lot goes into that shit. Like the hair, the makeup, the body, all of that shit costs money. Like it costs bucks.
Not the body.
No, it do.
Well, yeah, sometimes it do. But does. Mitchell don't need all the makeup or any of that. Mitchell prefers women in their natural hair. Loves their natural faces.
She don't care. She don't care about all that. No, she don't.
As she has right to, for the record.
She done spent a lot of money on this get up. Now that costs.
It
okay,
does.
Just like any business. There's operation costs.
I can't believe we're but actually I'm happy we're having the conversation on the show.
The operation cost of her might be higher than you're willing to spend. It might be a couple of lobster dinners, okay? And you might not got lobster dinner money for one lobster dinner. I can't help you with that. A lot of you guys be complaining about women not loving you because they like fast cars and shit. And like it's a little weird to me because it's like going into the Gucci store and being like, why can't I buy this? It is like,
what you mean I can't get this belt for 5 cents on the dollar?
It's like, yeah, it's like
I'm on a budget.
It's a $700 belt. Like this this is the price. This is the price of the belt. I understood the concept that you walked past the window and you liked it because you were supposed to like it. But that's all you could afford is the like all you can't
Damn you,
afford
window shopper.
Is the window shopping. So you bought with the window shopping. You purchased and now walk away because you can't afford it with real money and shit. And so like these girls, they like even like when you see them on Tinder and stuff. Like I used to be on the Tinders. I used to swipe. I would swipe left on them because I'm like, I can't afford you.
But
yeah, I know. I knew that. I'm like,
man,
my money's is not. I feel like my money's is not set up like this. Like
I know. So
you're expensive with expensive taste. I'm not like. I
guess we can also talk about how, because like it is one thing in terms of what I'm talking about, which I wish wasn't a thing, but we obviously know is a thing. But we could also talk about where the fuck do you think the cross or interconnect between like sexual desire and no, I guess that one's pretty easy because if you can
keep going. I want to hear what you
things-
got to say.
Well, the internet between like sexual desire and like, you know, money and like costs and shit like that, finances and stuff.
Oh, there's definitely one.
And then I was like, there's definitely, I was just wondering where it comes from. And then I'm like, oh, wait, well,
Survival.
obviously, yeah, like if you could have someone comfortable and we're in this space and we're together and obviously we want to procreate and shit or just have sex. But I'm just like, I wonder, I wonder when that started. Was it, you know, when we first left the garden or
No, listen.
later on?
I think it's completely natural. I think in some cultures of penguins,
I don't know if I'll say it's completely natural.
it is.
I'll
I'm
speak
gonna
on that
explain how.
next one. Okay.
Penguins are so great for everything because like penguins are gay, penguins have prostitution, they have everything. So like it's so like they are the greatest example of like the natural order of things. Like in some like penguins actually barter their way into some. I'm not gonna say that. You guys know what I was gonna say, but I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah, you're a coward, but
I am right. I should have said it.
but,
I
like,
should have said it, but I'm not
I
gonna
can't
say
say it now because
it. You know what I
we
was
can't
gonna
take
say.
away from your cowardice. But like,
But male penguins will literally find like the shiniest pebble and bring it up to female penguins, and that's how some of the female penguins decide who they're gonna have sex with. So imagine.
oh man, our sexual psychology brought down to penguin sex.
Yes, like it's
All right.
it's there. Like the idea that you are able and capable to take care of some shit because you know it's valuable in the world and you're willing to go grab that valuableness and bring that shit to me means that you can take care of some shit. You know what I mean? And there's some logic behind that, I think.
No, can't deny that. There is a little bit there. Mm-hmm.
Like even for like a fucking like I get like the pebble metaphor. Like I get it because like if you're a penguin, right, and like they bring you a shitty pebble, like what do they think of you? Like I get it.
Oh man.
And that's how a lot of women feel. It's like you gave me like a shitty pebble and then you wonder why I didn't fuck you. And it's like I get that. I get it.
No, yeah, I mean that's fair.
If you don't got no smile, you don't got no jokes, you don't got no personality, right? All you got is dick, and like you don't got no
how
money.
do you start with personality? We're talking about the cross between money. That stuff is the stuff you should be liking people for.
I know, but I'm saying
but you're comparing it all to the pebble. Okay.
Yeah, I'm bringing it all together.
It's all to the pebble.
It's all connected. I'm saying like a lot of men, you don't even have any of that shit.
No, right.
So it's like money should be the aim you going for, and then you get mad when you don't even have that. I know why you mad. Like you don't even have that. But like, you need to find one of them. Like, don't pick a struggle. Like I always say, pick a struggle. Like you can't. Just like I said about the basketball
that's actually
team.
really good advice, though. That's actually really good. You need to, because the fact is, you can't show up with like nothing. Like no one. I mean, neither of us agrees with that. I could never. Even I don't be showing up to nothing. I'm a nigga who hates the game, but is like, damn straight, I'm still gonna play because I gotta value you. I obviously have value for you. You can't be out here just like, all right, so I'm out of shape. I don't really look too good. I'm not funny, and I live with my mom, but. You know, if you want to come over sometimes on Sundays before 6:00, my name's Darrell.
Darrell. Damn. What the fuck Darrell do to you?
I don't know. But no, that is really great advice. And it's also good because you're like, if money isn't your thing and you know there's a certain type of person, then don't do that. Find something, but do something. You know, find a way to show that you value someone or that you're valuable. There's many ways to do that. But no, I agree with that advice. That's good advice. Continue.
Audacity.
No, that audacity is a lot. That audacity is a lot, bro. How you pull up like that? Nigga, I got a 6-pack.
That shit. Mitch said, I got
a 6-pack. You better pull up with something, bro.
Mitch said, Mitch said, I don't work hard for these bucks. I work hard for these gains, man. Like, look
you know
at
what I'm
this.
saying?
Yeah.
This gain, that equates to something in their mind. Like, all right, well,
Bitch, what you should say, you should go to the bar. You really should do this. You should go to the bar, right? And you'd be like, I can't buy you this drink, but watch this. And just lift your shirt up. Like, just...
Oh, bro, I wish I had the kind of personality that would do some bullshit like that almost.
Just oil up before you go to the club. Just
Just be
oil
like,
up.
hey,
Say, listen.
hey, yo, how you doing? You know, I saw you from across the room.
Just lift it up. Like,
It's like, oh, you want to give me a drink? Nah. A drink? Baby, you want a drink?
drink this in.
All right.
Drink this.
All right, now go grab us 2 more.
I'm gonna write you a bunch of lines to say, man. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna write you a bunch of lines, send you out there, do your worst. Like Mitch said,
that was the last few exchanges has been so stupid.
That is the best.
Oh god.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, guys act like there's no options.
Yeah,
and
do something.
Women
man.
are forgiving. Women are so forgiving. They forgive
Not all
a
the
lot.
time, bro. Because women are forgiving, but Logan, women can also be spiteful. Not to say the people they spite and don't deserve it.
Where does the spite come from?
I didn't say the people getting the spite don't deserve it. I didn't say that. I'm just saying, like, you don't want to piss them off, neither.
That's what I'd be talking about. It's like the spite came from somewhere. She's angry from something. Somebody did her wrong. You know,
or somebody's not doing her right.
Exactly. So it's like I don't know. That's why I like.
Logan gets to a place. He's like, shit. No. Let me chill.
No, because I be hating when dudes complain about not getting pussy. I've been so mad. Like, you could do anything. You like. Okay, let me tell you the story real quick. I had a bad day at work one day. This is when my mom was alive. I had a bad day at work and I came home, right?
Yeah. And
I'm getting deep for a second. I had a bad day and I come home and I tell my mom about it and I was like complaining bad. Like I'm not gonna lie, I was really complaining really bad. Okay. And like she was like, I guess she wasn't having the best day herself. And so she was a little frustrated with me. And so we got in a little argument, right?
Oh no.
Shut up, Mitch. So,
Sorry.
I feel like that was very much the spirit of both me and her just now. Like,
oh fuck.
That's how we are. Like, that's how our arguments are. Yeah. And so like, so we got into it, and then like in the middle of the argument, what she told me is like, Logan, I do not understand you right now. She goes, listen, you can go and do whatever it is you want to do. And I've heard this a billion times from teachers, from parents and everything. But what she did was she said it in a way that just completely changed that dynamic of what she was saying. She says, Logan, you can go and do whatever it is you want to do. She goes, in this world, you are a man and it is available for you to do that.
Damn.
She
hit you with all that?
I did not have anything to say.
What the fuck? The fuck is he gonna say?
Yeah, she really said that. And I sat there with that. And I was like,
damn.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I was like,
it'd be those statements. All of a sudden you ain't shit. You're just like, damn.
And it's like, there are problems where it's like, you know, you can be trying your hardest and whatnot. But like the idea that like there's nothing you can do to improve your situation is such an entitled dude thing to do and say. And it is like a dude thing that guys even like express to women a lot of the time. And women gotta be sick. And like she was sick, they gotta be sick hearing that shit. And it made me sick hearing it back to me that like I was my biggest problem. Like in a world where the world favors me over her, like I am my biggest problem. Like that was like hard to hear. And like I was like I did not argue with that. Like there's times where like it's very hard for me not to argue, which is like why we have the joke.
There are also times where it's like I'm just gonna shut the fuck up now.
Yeah, those times are very few for me. That's why we have the joke that I argue with my bosses and stuff, because it's me shutting the fuck up is very, very hard for me to do.
No, same. I actually get that. But there are
But-
people in your life who will pull up and just be like, yo.
Yeah, like that was
Shut
that
the
was
fuck
a
up.
lot. She said, yeah. I was like, my mom has told me how to shut the fuck up in a lot of different ways, but that one was the most effective, and that one I will never let go of, because it was just like, I can't talk about privilege and the things that I talk about in this world, and like
Without acknowledging your own.
without not just acknowledging my own, but like not acknowledging how I live it every day and fucking ignore it.
Yeah. Also valid.
So like, I don't have like, there is something to be said about our sexual dynamic when it comes to men and women, and how women value men and how men value men, and like the society we've built. There is something to be said about that.
And how men value women too.
Yes.
Are we talking about all of them? Because we do have to talk about all of them. It's all fucked up.
But to me, it only goes so far, because there are things that people can do to alleviate that in certain instances. There are things that we're just not doing. We just decided not to, because we were too lazy to do it, or because it was just convenient for us not to. And it was even more convenient for us to put it on women, that women don't want to be with us because we don't have enough cheddar in our wallet, when really maybe she doesn't want to be with you because your breath stank. You know what I mean? Like, there are things.
It might also be, though, because of how many people there are in the world, she just don't want to be with you because of your wallet. And that's like,
And that's
you also
fair,
have to accept that.
But that,
You also have to accept that.
hey, having stank breath and no cheddar, damn. Again,
that's-
pick a struggle.
Yeah, pick a struggle. Shit.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, you gotta, like, at one point or another, we need to like, all the dudes right now are so mad at me. They'd be like, oh, this is some simp shit. No, shut the fuck up. Like, really, like, get a job.
Because I'm
like,
not a simp.
Like,
Mitch don't simp.
no, I mean, like, you know, like some dudes, like, they hear this shit and they really,
No, I know.
they're ready.
Trust
They're
me.
ready to see like how you're gonna shit on women about like for 30 minutes. And I'm like, this isn't Andrew Schultz. Like, this isn't like, we're not Charlemagne here. Like, I don't give, like, you know, this is not that show.
Kevin Samuels.
Yeah, Kevin
I'm
Samuels
good.
and
That's
shit.
yeah, I'm good. I'm good on that. I have my gripes to say, and I'm gonna say them because that's who I am. But like, I'm good. I don't like to.
I like to hear your gripes. Like,
yeah,
because it comes into
I'm
a conversation. We can talk about it, and that's what this show's
I'm
about.
a decent human
You know what
being,
I mean?
but
Yeah,
I'm
are.
real about the shit that I'm experiencing and feeling how I feel about that.
You're one of the
what I'm
more
saying?
decent people I know. Yeah, I'll say that.
Can't be helped. You know, somebody
I
has
hate
to.
you. No, I take it away. I take
Somebody
it back.
has to. It's just such a struggle, but it's
Yes.
mine to bear. Mine to bear alone.
Speaking of decent people, let's talk about some indecency.
Okay. I guess it's time.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that last subject because, like, I knew it was gonna be fun. For some reason, I didn't know it was gonna be fun, but I knew it was gonna be fun. I wanted to talk about. All right, so let me start the way I need to start for this one.
Okay.
Just this week, we had a terrible tragedy in New York where I think the one silver lining is, at least to my knowledge, as
No
I'm
one died.
recording this, nobody
Yeah.
has died yet.
Yeah.
Okay? Which is great.
Great.
The unfortunate thing is that through, like, I think really at Monday or Tuesday, a man got on the subway here in New York,
Mm-hmm.
and basically he decided that he was going to open up some gas canisters on the subway. You guys have probably already heard the story, but if you haven't, he opened up some gas canisters on the subway. It was like smoke, and he took his gun and he just started opening fire on the train. Now, I think one of the saving graces, like, somebody at my job mentioned this and we kind of like made fun of him for it, but like, one of the saving graces I think about what happened on that train is that he did that when the train took off from the platform, from one stop to another, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think the distance, when I looked at the distance, when the New York Times showed like how far the train traveled to get to the next stop, It looked like it was either an express train or a local train. I couldn't tell, but it looked like they was on that train for a good like maybe, if not 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. Because you know how stop to stop it like be like 5-10 minutes sometimes. So
Depending on where you're going.
like yeah, depending on where you're going, yeah. But like it looked like from the stop that they were at to the stop that they ended at, like that looked like a good 5 minutes on that train, at the very least. Like it could have been maybe 10 minutes on that train, but it looked like that. And I think what happened was, what the miraculous part was, is that in his idiocy, like he opened those the smoke canisters and like then started firing, and which I don't think he could see very well. You know what I mean? Which is why I think a lot of people left with their life. You know what I mean?
He like didn't plan for this. I mean, anyway, probably couldn't afford. I'm just mad he's a black domestic terrorist.
It's crazy. So
no, it is crazy. It's horrible.
One of the things that came out of this, though, is, of course, when they found the suspect, or they figured out who they thought the suspect was, they went into his history and then found out that like the person who they alleged to have done all of this is somebody who, I'm not gonna call him like a black radical or whatever. I don't believe in all that bullshit. What I'm gonna say is, like, they dabbled on the internet. They have their own YouTube page and whatever, and they dabbled on the internet in spaces where like they would make their own commentary about like I guess black issues, but like from the slant of like places like, what is it, like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and things like that. So like just like far almost sometimes far right, like black spaces like on the internet.
Yeah.
If that's fair to say, and militant spaces on the internet. And like when you hear him talk about some shit, like one of his gripes was that like Ketanji Brown, the new Supreme Court justice, like her husband was white. So that's the wavelength this person's on.
Oh,
right.
Have we even congratulated her?
No.
Oh my.
Well, we can't congratulate her in the middle of this. We'll do it at the end of the show in the wrap up, because I don't want her like being all mixed up in this. But
no,
like,
that's valid.
Yeah,
that's valid.
you know?
That's valid. Yeah,
like,
we'll handle that. Make
this
sure we
is
handle
not the time to celebrate her. To give her flowers when it's not like covered in
like someone shooting. Yeah,
shit.
You're right. You're right.
Anyways, but like, yeah, like that's his wavelength. It's like, he hates interracial marriage and like all this, like that's him. Okay. So what a lot of conservatives just seem more than happy to do, which is weird to me, but like they seem more than happy to do, is like point all this out and talk about, oh, this is a person from Black Lives Matter. This is a person who's from the Black Panthers. And like, like this is what it's like. And it's like, this is one person, by the way, we're talking about. Literally every domestic terrorist, very few domestic terrorists have been black people, save for this guy, the DC sniper.
The DC sniper was black?
You don't know that? They made a whole Lifetime movie about that shit.
No, I didn't know.
It was two black guys.
Damn.
It was a black guy and like a black teenager. Yeah.
Well,
yeah. And he had his own little political problems or whatever. It was whatever. Yeah, he was like shooting out the back of his trunk or whatever. Yeah, that was his thing. Like that story is crazy in itself. But like, as far as American domestic terrorism, there is not a lot of black people who commit domestic terrorism. Part of that is because of like black culture and how black culture works, where like usually somebody who is like this would be on the fringe of the culture anyways. Usually somebody who is like this would not be somebody that like black people in general would like necessarily hang out with.
The rest of us know not to embarrass ourselves to the point where our mamas will come out of her house and beat the fuck out of our
not just
asses.
that, but like black people don't necessarily like putting their lives in danger to this degree.
Yeah,
for no fucking reason. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, this is not, these type of crimes are not the type of things that like black people usually do, right?
Yeah, it's too much, because some like because of all the issues we feel that come from the state and police, what it is to be in a police state, we're like, nah, we can't do shit like that.
Yeah, to just
we
have
get shot like
just
first
have
thing.
the police come up on you for no reason. That doesn't make.
I didn't
any
even
sense.
pull out the gun and I'm shot. That's usually a no.
Exactly, like they shoot black people without having a gun. We're gonna walk around.
We're gonna walk around with one.
They'd be
crazy.
Yeah. So like, this is usually not the plan. However, a lot of domestic terrorism is sought out by like white people who are very, very, very right wing and very right wing militant, right?
Yeah.
Just like the Las Vegas shooter, just like Dylan Roof, who, just
Rhodesian
like
flag and all that,
and like we can go on and on and on about different like mass murderers who probably do not deserve, like fucking just the other guy, who's the teenager.
Kyle Rittenhouse. Yeah.
Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah.
Him drives across several state lines just to shoot up some people during a fucking protest. Like, these stories are usually made out of like white domestic terrorism because of the fact that like that's
white
the
supremacy.
idea. White supremacy. Yeah. Like basically it comes from that. It comes directly derivative from that, and usually from, they'll use in their manifestos the same talking points that Republicans use every day, just a little more dumb when they write it. You know what I mean? So the idea that like conservatives would go online and just like jump for joy that like a black person having to be a terrorist is just so telling. And what I really wanted to talk about is why it's so telling, because like it seems like there's always this push to like brand any type of black liberation or like black people don't even really believe in black separatism, like the whole Dr. Umar Johnson type thing.
Some do, but not.
I mean,
all
like
of us in
mass.
general, like
in general,
no.
yeah, no, that's not even like a thing that like
even in Africa,
and even within those spaces aren't generally like violent to like this degree where you could even say that this is a problem or epidemic or an uprising or anything like that, right? So like white people have militia groups like the Oath Keepers and things like that, who are right-wing militia groups that employ like neo-Nazis and people in like real shit. Like, you know what I mean? And so every time we have to have these type of conversations, we have to have these weird conversations where like, oh, the Black Panthers are just as bad as KKK. Like I was telling Mitch earlier.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And I was about to bring that up because it's like people are trying to make Black pride look like Black supremacy. Yeah. And never has such a thing ever existed. Like, if you think about it, historically,
well,
never has Black supremacy ever existed. But guess what has? White supremacy, which is why we haven't, like, you know, the real reason Black Americans specifically, have trouble hearing the word white pride? Because usually such a thing isn't happening in the country to begin with. Usually white supremacy is happening. And the country having that history is now just like, whenever you hear something about white pride, you're concerned, rightfully so, because it's like you don't even need to have pride per se, because no one was beating you down in the first place,
right?
In the country, no one was making you feel shitty about yourself for you to rebuild your self-esteem back up,
right? Which
is the point in the first place. You know what I'm saying?
I'm so glad you said that like that.
Bro, no. Oh, you think,
No, not that you wouldn't get it, but I just like that the way you said that.
Oh, yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Because nobody ever says it. Nobody says that like that. No, I've never heard anybody say that.
Which is why I
Yeah.
specifically have had that thought myself. And because we were talking about earlier, I was like, I can say what that is right now because I know, but it's never been the case. And that's why we have issues. And that's why it's just fucking ludicrous whenever I hear the term Black Panthers being compared to the KKK. Sure, both were militant. The Black Panthers, you pull up on Black Panthers armed, they're going to shoot back. But not shoot you, shoot back. In self-defense, even if they even choose to shoot back in the first place.
You can't even, let me pause and stop you for a second. When you say they both, there is no they both. Like, I'm not trying to come at you, but
no,
like,
it's cool.
it's this, which I hate when you say that because it makes me feel like an abusive father and like you've been through it like before some shit.
What
like,
the fuck? Don't
I'd be
do that
yelling
right now.
I'd be yelling and then it makes me reevaluate why I'm yelling and I feel like ultra bad. But anyways, like
Now you made this weird.
I'm
but
sorry.
Carry on.
But no, like what was I just saying?
In terms of like both, you can't say both of them.
Yes, because the KKK didn't have like fucking lunch lines for the children in their community.
This is true.
You know, there is no both. There is no equal. There is no like
there is no place for comparison.
I'm trying to like go off to the same energy you just had, which was like when you're talking about black pride, right? The idea. When you look at how Black pride is defined and how Black people define Black pride, when it comes to being okay with just being Black in general, being okay with having a big nose or having your hair the way it is, having nappy hair, having curly hair, having whatever, being able to walk down the street in peace, being able to talk the way you want and not be judged for that in a way that like upends your entire life, you know, being this idea of being unapologetically Black. You know what I mean? I can't even imagine what unapologetic like whiteness means. Like what, you go to Starbucks every day? Like what is the what is the thing? Don't laugh at me.
Sorry.
That was not as funny as it should have been.
It wasn't, but it was like an after. And I was like,
but what, like these ideas come from a place of need, right? And the whole idea of white pride is that it literally is not ever defined by well-meaning white people. It's always been defined by people who believe that the other ethnic groups in the country or wherever space they occupy should not exist, should be eradicated, should be either eradicated or subservient to whiteness. And we always have to do this weird dance where it's like, oh, we can't tell which one of these things are different. Like, it's like, bro, like are you serious right now?
Bro, is you fucking serious? Have you been paying attention?
That's why I said there is no both. You know,
no,
because
you're right.
You can't have a both because both implies that there is some level in which we could compare. And you cannot compare the Black Panthers to the KKK. You cannot compare Black Lives Matter, as I've heard people do, to the KKK.
Which is a really crazy one. Yo, another thing I do want to say though, another thing. So I do have issues hearing the term white pride, but I never have any issue hearing Irish pride or German pride or Russian pride or British pride whatsoever. You know what the difference is? You see, here in America, when, you know, the disparate Black people from different parts of Africa were forcibly brought here, they lost whatever sense of culture that was there.
Right.
Now, white people emigrating here, some of them may have, but nonetheless, the line isn't necessarily broken.
They understand where they came from.
You may be able to have an understanding where you come from and therefore can claim a pride to a different country because, yes, motherfucker, you're immigrants too.
Like some of the novelty of 23andMe is not white people figuring out whether or not they're Scotch Irish or not because they know that part, but figuring out whether or not they're related to Genghis Khan. Like that's what it is. You know?
Sorry, I don't know why. I don't know what's tickling me right now. That just is funny to me. But no,
that is the truth because they can actually trace back their family to where their family came from.
Yeah. So when you say white pride, you're specifically speaking to, unfortunately for you, and be glad I even give you that. But unfortunately for you, when you try to claim white pride in America, you are specifically claiming a history that's literally come here and literally kind of fucked everybody else over for generations upon generations. You have the other cultures that you come from. But also when we use the... What's up?
Go ahead.
No, I was saying because when we use the term Black, It isn't even necessarily because that's the first thing we go to. I mean, well, it is like the first thing we go to, but that's just because we've lost so much. There is no other understanding for us. Right. That's where that comes from. That's why we took pride in that. We needed that just to rebuild our sense of identity and self-esteem.
It is a homogenous term. Yeah. Like, okay, let me spring off of what you just said. Black is a homogenous term in America. That means that if you're a Jamaican, if you're a Haitian, if you come from Nigeria, if you come from anywhere, right? Mm-hmm. You're black when you get to America because that's how America treats you, right? Because America has erased the identity and the cultures of the people that it kidnapped and brought here, right? That is the history of the black people who live in America. Even people who immigrate later on from that same slave trade from other islands and they come to America are also black because that is still how the country sees you and that's how the country treats you as a black person, right?
Mm-hmm. No.
Black is a homogenous term because of that. To say white pride, which I thought you was about to say, but I think you were very close to saying it. To say white pride is to spit in the face of that because of the fact that white is not a homogenous thing in America.
No.
It's not a single thing. Like there are different cultures of white people in America.
And people like to ask. People usually tend to care.
Yeah, they actually ask where you're from and where your family's from, where your last name comes from.
And in some cases, you can probably tell them.
And in a lot of cases, you can probably tell them. You can tell them that your mother was German, your father was English, and you can tell them all these different things. So like you have this culture and this heritage, and then to say that your culture and heritage is white, which is not a real thing in America. It's not a real thing.
Yeah, I know.
Like that is like such a fake and made up thing. And so like to claim that is just like it further embeds in this idea that you are beyond an other to the degree that you are like you're just so far and beyond better and like different than anybody else. Like to claim that in that way. Right. You know what I mean?
No, I
like that, yes. that type of separation. Like that's an extra degree. Like you can't just say I'm German. Like you have to say like you are just like this other category now. So like this idea of like just whiteness in America and then saying that you have white pride is that like you're proud of being white means like you're proud of this thing that separates you from the rest of the groups. And the fact that we have to even have this conversation and be like
because of white supremacy in the first place.
Yeah, where white supremacy wants to be like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. It's like, this is fucking stupid. Like, this is just dumb. You made this concept for people to live by. And now, like, when people are like, when they point it out, and like, when everybody thinks that, like, you know, when a shooting happens is because of some white right-wing asshole, like, you don't understand where that comes from. And then you want to play the gotcha moment when the person happens to be black for like every 20 years. Like, what the fuck are we talking about?
We told you. It's like, and
what did you tell me?
Every single black person just sighs and is just like,
not me. I'm like, what? What did you tell me? Told me what? It just so happened to be what? What? I want to know.
But those are the legitimate differences, and that's why it's just so upsetting. Because yes, it was horrible that black man did that. Yeah. But you don't get to use that as a moment to make comparison between, you know, actual black liberation, which this was not, and white supremacy or the KKK, some shit like that.
Right.
Sorry, shut up. Shut up. The old school Kevin Hart. Shut up. Shut up before I go tell Day to come in here and kick your ass.
Right.
Bro, like, oh my God. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. Don't come back till you know better. Don't make me put hands on you. Because I asked you to leave politely the first time. So if you came back, you trespassing, and I'll put fucking hands on you.
That's why you can't argue with people like that. That's why I keep trying to tell y'all, stop doing it online. Stop giving them, you know, when you argue with like conservative people online, or you argue with like Ben Shapiro online, or bring him onto your show and stuff, you just making like his platform bigger. Like, for real, that's how the algorithm works.
Yeah,
like,
damn, that sucks.
The engagement is a real thing.
His sister, though,
is like she's like just as bad. Like
Yeah, and I just saw she looked
just
the other
learned
day.
I just learned she had a sister. Like
Yeah, I know, me too. And then I was like,
Amazing.
fuck. And as soon as I saw, and I was just like, cause I'm a boob man, so I was like, oh my
horrible.
God. And I was horrible, but I was like, damn, I can't even like you. Look what white supremacy has done.
Mitch is like,
I can't even actually appreciate this moment.
Like, I can't. Mitch is like, I can't even enjoy this objectification of you.
Exactly. Goddamn. I know she's a person. Everybody likes to, we sexual objectify each other. It happens. It's about appreciation, okay? But damn it, I know she's a person first. I'm just saying it hurts, okay? Just stop it, white supremacy. Just stop it.
Mitch is like in the corner. What a waste.
Yes.
Oh, that's so bad. But yes, I get it. You're like, speaking of women on the internet, that reminded me of like a year ago or so. Like there was this weird internet. I think it was just because it was like the beginning of the pandemic, and like y'all was just inside for too long. But there was like this time when like on social media, like dudes was like really, it was losing their mind over like Lily from AT&T. Like it was like you remember, Lily from AT&T.
Lily. Milana Ventrube, bro.
Oh my God, you're one of them.
Bro, I felt bad because I felt bad. And you don't remember what happened, dude? You don't remember what happened?
Wasn't she like leaving AT&T or some shit?
No, so what happened, the reason everybody was thirsting, what happened is they put her in a new outfit a size smaller, and we got to see how she shaped. But she's beautiful. Like,
but
don't get it wrong.
On the red carpet like that anyway.
Yeah, she's beautiful. She's a beautiful woman, and talented. Everybody loves the character she plays, and she was supposed to play Squirrel Girl, and that would have been a perfect role for her.
Yo, that would have been perfect.
Bro,
oh my God,
she would play the shit out of Squirrel.
Crazy.
You can already tell. But no, she's also, unfortunately for her at that time, she's also got a fucking rocking bod, bro. And they put her in an outfit that was a size too small. And people came out of the woodwork to be like, damn. And she was like, could everyone stop? Because it made her really uncomfortable. And that's why she would have left. And then they changed her outfit back. Because, she's Lily from AT&T. You're going to respect me.
This show sometimes, I wonder if like one day the evolution will be like, this is just like the Howard Stern show now. Like, it's just like.
Could we be Howard, please? I'll question all the naked women.
Just like, yeah, you want to come on? Yo, you want to be my Baba Booey? Like,
bro, I just
they'd be like, take it off, like from the corner. Like,
bro, come on, like, come on now, come on, girl, come on, you ain't got to be shy. Like, listen, we try to, free yourself.
Just fucking get drunk in the corner, yelling out.
It's like, woo. But they be having the greatest conversation, and funny enough, it represents something that should be, because there's a naked woman on there. And neither of them are trying to like touch her or anything or make her feel uncomfortable. They be bringing on the show to hear about her experience, and everybody's safe. She's safe. I hope she's comfortable with herself, insecure. What I'm saying?
That show is wild, Howard Stern.
And if you want to go there, I will question the naked woman for you. I will do that if that's what you need.
Listen, sometimes I don't know if I should.
If that's what you need.
I'm a coward because like it was like I used to listen to Howard Stern when like I was young.
Oh, really?
When I shouldn't have been listening to Howard
like
Stern.
Maybe one or two. I didn't know it was on. I was like, oh, I think I saw a naked chick on
I
there
used
one
to listen
time.
to Howard Stern. Hell yeah. Like I would sneak listen to Howard Stern like when my parents didn't know I was in the car.
You were a young creep, bro?
Fuck yeah. I was 12. Everybody's a creep at 12.
Don't speak for all of us.
Yeah, whatever. Y'all creepy too. I don't want to hear it. I've heard some of the stories y'all do when you're 12 years old, all right? Humping couches and shit. I don't want to hear that shit.
All right, yeah, we've all done something.
Yes.
Yeah, we've all done something.
It's normal. It's natural. You're trying to explore your body. I get it. But like, hey, don't call me a creep because I was listening to Howard Stern in the car. Like, fuck you. Anyways. We already talked about Frank James. I don't have a whole lot to say about Frank James because, like, again, he's like one of these terroristic people and like fuck him. Yeah. I don't have much to say about terrorists except like fuck
Shot people on a subway in New York City, in Brooklyn. In Brooklyn, bro. We in Brooklyn, bro. Get the fuck out of here. Fuck them. Fuck is you doing, my nigga? Fuck is you doing?
Yeah, but like, you know, prayers to like
The
everybody,
families and everyone,
like the
and
families,
very
and
glad no
because
one
like
has passed.
every time like any type of like tragedy is involved, like that's what I keep thinking about. That's what I really thought we should talk about is like I think about when tragedies like this happen, like the thing I think about is like how many families are affected. And
No,
like that
that's
means like
valid.
for each person there's like assuming there's like at least good 10 people that are affected. You know what I mean?
At
Like when
minimum,
my
like
mom
5,
died,
and
you know how many people got involved with that? Like for every like thing like that, you affect like so many people. And that's why I tell people like, you know, take care of yourself because you do like you might not feel like you matter to anybody, but you do. Like
period. And
period.
not even in the terms of mattering to someone else, which is important.
But I'm just saying, in your impact, you affect people's lives in a way that you could never imagine and never dream of. You know what I mean? So don't ever think that nobody cares. That's what I mean. Don't think nobody cares about you because we do. Let's wrap up. Let's get out of here because it's about that time. Do you have anything you want to leave the people with, Mitch?
Please help and support Kahawana. You know what I mean? Once again, the name of the act is RCS 45. I almost forgot. But, you know, message, call senators, have them block that, respect our sacred spaces, respect Indigenous sacred spaces. Otherwise, peace, love, and blessings, all that. Love yourself. Value people. Please start valuing people. Like it's such a weird world we live in. So toxic. Value people. You don't gotta fuck them. I ain't saying all that. You don't gotta give them more attention than they need, than they deserve. You don't even per se have to like them. Just value people. Value the existence of that life. I'm out.
Thank you for that. I just want to say, because we did talk about a lot of heavy stuff today, but I do want to reiterate, you know, I hope that like all of the families that are involved, like find peace this week or soon, you know, and like, I hope that you all find healing, like people who are injured. Like I saw the people like coming off the train and like, it's something about life when you want, like when you really want to live. And I'm not saying that like anybody who got, if they die or they end up dying or they got killed, like didn't want to live. But it's just like something about life when you watch it happen. It's like I watched some of the people come off the train and they were like jumping off, like they jumped off the train into like the platform because they were like hurt, you know?
Yeah, right.
Like they got shot or whatever. Whatever happened to them. And they like limping or whatever. And then as soon as it seemed like they were on the platform, they just like collapsed. You know what I mean? I don't know if they fainted or like they just like their body
some of them just fell.
They just rested and they just fell and they didn't get back up. But I was just like, I thought like how strong that fucking individual has to be. That is like, just get me to this finish line. You know what I mean?
I just gotta get away from
right here and then let me rest here, you know? And there's just something about like the human spirit and life in general. I know we was talking about spirituality earlier, but there's just something about life that's so powerful when I saw that. And so like
it's sacred.
Like you said, like it's something to be respected. And like I believe that. I believe what you were saying earlier, that rings true. And that's why we need to be able to respect each other's space like that. We need to be able to respect each other like that, you know, because life is important, man. Like it's like everybody has it, but it's like, unless you're actually thinking about that, like there's no reason to treat one other person as if they are less than or like their life doesn't matter. Like there's no reason to like just bump people and not like say excuse me, not recognize the humanity in somebody else, you know?
Yeah, man.
What else I was saying? Yo, shout out to Howard Stern because I love him. He's probably mad problematic in way other ways. But
yeah,
like,
bro. Must have been, imagine if he was the worst to work with because he's Howard Stern.
Listen, Howard Stern, I'm not going to say he's not an influence on my life. Like, come
Obviously,
on.
at this point, we all know he's an influence on your life.
If you didn't know, now you know. I am trash, guys. I don't know what you think trash means, but like, have you ever looked in trash before? There's a lot of trash in trash. Like, so like,
Logan.
there's a lot going on in there. As I just say, you should value people. You can value trash though. Oh yeah, that was the other thing I was saying. Yeah, since we was talking about like valuing people, like, listen, dudes, do better. Stop it. Stop complaining. I love you. We love you. That's not the problem. The problem isn't that nobody doesn't love you. Okay.
It's
No,
it's
that's not the
still a
problem.
little bit of the problem.
It's a little bit of the problem, but it's not the problem.
Well, it's
enough.
actually a lot bigger than we're willing to acknowledge, but that's a separate discussion and issue.
I ain't got time for this. Anyways,
I'll talk about it next time. I'll bring it up next time. Actually.
Yeah, we'll bring it up next time. Anyways, yeah. Anyways, all I was trying to say is that listen, don't take for granted what you can actually do, what you can actually accomplish, and don't wait for somebody to have to tell you that shit. And if you are in that stage where you needed to hear it for the first time from Beyond the Grave, my mom, then I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's just where both of us are.
Word up.
Yeah. I had something else I wanted to say, but I don't have anything else I want to say to you guys. Oh yeah.
I don't know what that noise was, but I'm glad you remembered.
That's me remembering.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah,
okay.
we never said congratulations to Ketanji Brown.
Oh yes.
For
my God,
her appointment to the Supreme Court as the first Black woman on the Supreme Court. Yeah, that was
deserved. That we are sorry and apologize for the deplorable behavior you had to deal with.
Yeah, for real.
But congratulations, sis.
I think we just got all caught up the last couple of weeks with the whole Will Smith situation and all the fuck shit that came along with it. And this isn't like a celebrity podcast or whatever, but and that's not why we talked about Will Smith. Like, I wouldn't bring that subject up unless we had something relevant and meaningful to say. And I hope that that's the spirit that we maintain on this show, and that's what we're always striving for. Listen, as always, if you like the show, share the show. If you're new here, I love you. If you're not, I love you too. Some of you guys have been listening forever. Some of you guys listen in secret. And I love you just the same. I like anybody who supports the show, anybody who just even is trying to support either me or Mitch or whoever has been on the show before, you know what I mean? Or is going to be on the show to come. I just love anybody who participates and acts with the show. And I say out of love, if you like the show, share the show. But if you don't, and you just enjoying the show, I get it too.
But share that shit though.
Thank you, Mitch. Thank you for keeping my energy. I love
share that shit, nigga. Just share it real quick.
It's like my anger translator right now.
Just share that shit. Don't make me ask again. Just share that shit, please. I love you. All right.
Thank you. Have a good evening. Have a good night. Have a good day at work. Have a good day doing whatever it is you're doing, whenever it is you're doing, when you're listening to the show or when you're not. Go ahead and say goodbye to the people, Mitch.
Milk and toast.
This has been episode 46 of the Milk and Toast podcast. I'm your host, Logan, and bye. See ya.
Milk and toast.